What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the CotAcasT. My name is Brian Bermudez, and I'm the host of the Craft of the Air podcast, the aviation podcast that expands your knowledge in each episode. Join us as we explore the untold world of aviation together. Today, guys, I am joined, as you can see, by Micheal. Micheal is a remarkable individual, somebody that really embodies, and I'm not just saying this because he's on the show, somebody that I really wanted on the show for a while. He is an aviation maintenance college student. He immerses himself in aviation and the safety. He's eager to become an engineer, but Micheal's pursuits, they go far beyond the classroom. He's also an aircraft owner, and he takes great pride in maintaining his aircraft. And beyond that, Micheal's a devoted father. He's a husband. He loves his family. And I just really wanted him to be on the show. Micheal, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, I want to say thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure, and I wanted to have you on the show for such a while. Micheal and I have, we've been in the college for a little over a year now, and he's been in some of my classes. He's been one of my best students, and we always speak about so many things, aviation and beyond that after class, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Definitely always it's always a pleasure. We have some great conversations. Definitely.
Mike, one thing I never got the opportunity to ask you, but
Mm.
what really got you into aviation? What got you to Vaughn College in Queens, New York, studying A&P?
Yeah.
What got you into that?
I first got into aviation. A friend of mine, older gentleman by the name of Jack, he actually got me into it because he was also a pilot. He owned his own plane as well. And what he did was he used to take his family on vacations, just
Mm,
flying them to different places in the US, out of the US, and that just sparked up my interest right there. And ever since that, he told me how to go about getting my private pilot license. And once he told me how to do it, I jumped at it. It was like no holds bar. I just had to have it. And I've since 2003, I got my
mm.
private pilot license, and I got my plane in 2004, my first plane
Okay.
in 2004, and I've been flying ever since that. And now I got into the A&P thing and doing all the studying. I decided, I wanted a jet, so I bought a jet. And now I'm in. Both
Yeah.
feet
Yes.
both feet are in.
Let me ask you about that, because there was something there that kind of struck me. He said
Uh-huh.
he brought his first plane in 2004. And so was that like your first plane was just for like leisure? Like you're just flying around trying to build up some hours, just seeing the country?
No, actually, the reason why I bought it was I I own properties. I own a lot of properties, and
Okay.
so it kind of helped me instead of doing commercial all the time. And I have to go 2 hours early, then I gotta sit there and wait, and then I gotta wait for my baggage when I get to
Mm-hmm.
wherever I'm going. I decided, listen, I just want my own plane so that way I could just fly out. And I'm at my own leisure. I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
late
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's just
No TSA. There's no
exactly,
TSA. There's none of that.
exactly. It's just jump in and jump out.
That's so interesting, because I've never, this is totally off what I was even going to speak about, but this is a perspective that I've never heard anyone bring up. Getting that private pilot's license
Uh,
to utilize it to their advantage for for business purposes.
oh yeah, oh yeah. It's it's a beautiful thing. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
It's
no.
it's a beautiful thing when you're able to get to where you're going in a timely manner, and you have control of the time that you get there.
Yeah.
And with properties, it's one of those things. Anything could go wrong, or you need to get to your property. And it's not, you don't have to worry about booking a flight, and
Right.
you got to rush for that flight as well. And it's just, at this point, it's just, okay, how is the weather? Is the weather good? Can I fly around the weather? Or that's it.
That's an interesting point. A lot of people are worried about, like, I'm telling my girl, like, you got to get the boarding pass on the iPhone, get the Uber ready for, the flight that's at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got the babies crying. Then you got to worry about the flight is canceled. But Mike could just drive up to the hangar, take his bag out, drive to his plane, put your stuff in, you're out.
that's it. That's it. It's like, okay, you talk to ATC, and that's it. You just go where you got to go, and that's it.
Let me ask you something. What's one of the most valuable things or lessons that you've learned from being a private pilot and owning your own aircraft?
I'd say one of the most important thing that I've learned is, I've learned how to listen a lot more,
Mm,
being a pilot, because it's so important when you're on the radio, and okay, ATC say one thing, okay, you're doing a bunch of different things, and as you're doing it, you still have to fly the plane while you're listening. So
right.
it enhanced my listening ability. I'm now able to listen very well because
Interesting.
it's very important to hear what's going on. Even though you're doing what you're doing, you have to listen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Does that also do you also see with coming with that while you're saying that, I'm kind of thinking, does multitasking, your ability to multitask, are definitely improving,
Oh,
right? Because you're
oh,
doing like
oh,
a million things
absolutely.
at once,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It definitely enhance it. And this is the reason why I feel like your communication skill is so great. I think that you should, go for that private pilot license,
I
and
do.
just keep stepping it up from there, whether you go from commercial or whatever you do. But it's just a beautiful thing just to be able to get up there and just fly. For me, that's
Yeah.
real freedom.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it right there. What do you think when I think of flying, that's something that I always wanted to do myself, and at the very least at the private pilot level, and I think for what Michael had just mentioned, that's freedom right there. For people listening, and I just think of myself and I think, oh, I could become a private pilot, but maybe there's these challenges and that challenge. For people listening, what will you tell them saying, oh, it might be too difficult to get my pilot license, or it may not be for me. What will you tell them to kind of nudge them or encourage them? Because maybe there are people out there that kind of just need that.
Yeah, well, as it's definitely not difficult. I think that one of the most important thing is your networking, the people that you
Mm,
have in your corner, your support system. I feel that that's one of the most important things in order to get over that hump, because it is pretty challenging. It's pretty challenging to get that private pilot license, because you got to be dedicated. And if you are dedicated, if you have a good support system, then it becomes a piece of cake.
mm,
You
okay.
know, I believe that having a good support system, having someone or people to support you in going ahead, because it's a beautiful thing to be able to say, okay, hey, I'm going for a flight, and
Yeah.
I'm taking off at 7 o'clock, and then you say, oh, you know what, I don't want to take off at 7 anymore. I want to take off at 6 o'clock. You want to join me? You know, it's one of those things. It's just a beautiful thing. You talk about freedom, freedom to the max.
You wanna have dinner in Cape Cod tonight? Like it's like nothing. Like
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
just
yeah,
do it. It's
yeah.
when it's been now we know aviation is costly, and one of the first things that comes to my mind when I think about owning an aircraft are
Uh-huh.
the costs associated with that. And I think it's interesting where you have a unique perspective to offer people, where you're a private pilot and you have experience, you're not a new pilot.
Right.
And now you're getting into aviation maintenance. So now you're learning kind of like the technical background of the systems. Looking at all of that, what do you think? Has it been difficult, do you say? Like maintaining the aircraft from so far? And I know you have a newer aircraft now, so it
Yeah,
might be a little bit more challenging.
yeah. So that's one of the most expensive things in owning an aircraft is actually the maintenance, and maintenance of the aircraft is, I mean, it's just ongoing. I mean, as you know,
Yeah.
every year you got annual. You know, okay, this comes up. Okay, now you got to fix it. You got to worry about airworthiness. There's so much that you got to worry about, and guess what? You know, depending on who's your A&P, who's dealing with the plane or what company, uh, they could take you for a ride. They could take you for a really, really long ride. So that's one of the most challenging.
Can you let me ask you something. I'm sorry, to cut you off.
No, no.
Let me ask you something. Now knowing that, and I don't know how much of this you've seen ongoing for things that you've had to have done on your aircraft, but can you kind of sift through the BS, kind of knowing the way the systems work and kind of what should look, kind of the way it should look now?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't actually. I feel like I should have done this a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah, I really should have done this a long time ago. It's sort of like how could I put it? I'm trying to figure out a good analogy, good way to put it, because basically what happens is it's now a eye opener. Your eyes
Mm,
open now. You're able to see a lot better. It's like being a pilot. Yeah, you do understand to the point, to a point, but now being an A&P and really getting to understand the systems and how they really work, and now I'm able to say, oh, so in that situation,
mm-hmm,
that's why that happened. And now I'm able to really see the whole picture versus
mm-hmm.
maybe 75% of the picture. Now I'm able to see at least 99% of the picture, you know, and it's just so, it makes it a lot more interesting, and it makes it a lot more fun. You know,
Yeah.
it's more, it's sort of like having a piece of cake and your taste buds are out. You know, you're eating the cake and you can't really taste it, but you know it's supposed to be good because it
Yeah.
looks good. Now with this A&P and really studying the systems and really understanding it, it's like, oh, your taste buds is back. Oh, now you take
Yes.
a bite in and it's like, oh man, oh, this tastes so good. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, man. It's a beautiful thing.
That's a really good way to put it. And I know that you are passionate about aviation. That kind of makes me think, do you kind of gaining this knowledge into maintenance, does it give you a better appreciation of this plane that you're flying that you're like, man, this thing is incredible now that you know every system that's working around you?
Yeah, but you know, you know, the setback to that is like now I want to
Boy.
take stuff apart, and now I really want to like, oh man, you know, I know if I do this, this will happen, and oh, I don't really like how this feel. You know what? I need to take it apart. I need to, you know, so that could be might be a drawback, but it's a beautiful thing because you know, I enjoy taking stuff apart because you know I'm also a mechanic. I work with my hands and I have a shop, so I work with cars. I
Oh, I
take
didn't
them
know.
apart all the time.
That's interesting. That's I was gonna say something else, I totally forgot. But that's interesting. And that makes me, I was smiling a lot when he was telling me about that because that makes me feel good. Cause I know being somebody that's passionate about aviation and hearing somebody, and I know that he's actually learning in these classes that he's been taking.
Yeah,
That's something good. Because anything that you do in aviation is gonna be good. So it makes me feel good.
yeah, that's good.
Um,
You know what it
well,
is. It's just amazing that when I speak to someone who has the passion for something that I also have the passion for, it's almost like, you know, you could be in the middle of a sentence and it's like I start really smiling and start
yeah,
laughing within because I know where it's going, and it makes me feel so
yeah,
good because I understand where it's going. And
yes,
you know, it's just that it becomes a mutual uh, a a mutual love. You could feel the love. Basically, is what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
just a beautiful thing. That's one thing I enjoy, and even with everyone else over there at Vaughn is just a beautiful thing because with majority of these guys, I see the love, the guys and the
yeah,
females, and
yeah.
it's a great thing when we vibe.
And Michael comes from a really good group. When back when he was a freshman, a lot of people that he kind of started with, you guys are still in that same group, and they've actually excelled. They've been, you've kept some really good company along your studies. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
absolutely.
Um, you know, when you speak about, uh, I guess, well, I'm trying to think of things that I just wanted to ask you, and I say from so far because I know you're getting, excuse me, towards the end. But
Yeah.
what do you think out of all the classes that you taken, what was the most important system that you learned, the most important information, and that you took away that you were like, wow, I that was good information. I'll take that for life.
That's a good question. Um, Only because for me, what took me for a loop is a lot of the rules and regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that in particular only because as as an automotive technician, when I work on cars, the car is able to get pulled over, and who's there to really? There's no overhead. Basically, after I fix it, I do a test drive, and okay, it's great. Now, if that part that I put in should fail for any particular reason, customer call me up and I say, okay, bring it in, and I take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not drive. Okay, I'll send a tow truck. Tow truck, bring it in. And guess what? I take it a problem. That's it. Now, you're talking about aircraft. Now, on the other hand,
Different
something
story.
fails. Oh man, it's just totally different ball game. Only because when the feds come in, when FAA comes in, okay, now
That's it.
it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So for me, I find that to me that's one of the most important thing to me, that as I was learning some of the rules and regulation, I think that um you were also teaching a lot of the rules and regulation, and when you were
Yeah.
explaining them, it was very interesting to me only because it's so different, so strict, so precise, so to the T, that it, it brings a challenge. And for me, I love challenges. So that to me is one of the most important things, because if you don't abide by those rules and regulations, oh man, it's gonna be chaos.
That's
It's not.
it.
It's yeah, exactly. That's it.
Have there been like a lot of rules, regulations, or things that you've had to do as an aircraft owner and a private pilot?
Oh,
Or has it just
absolutely.
become kind of routine for you now?
Yeah, it's kind of routine. It's since 2004. It's almost about 20 years that I've owned my first plane. So it's sort of like routine. I get to understand it. I know what it is, and it's just a routine. It and with the aircraft, okay, it's not airworthy. I'm going to my AMP, my technician, to say, okay, hey, what could you do? And he give me a list. He say he's got to do this, he's got to do that, and I say, okay, how much? And boom, I pay, and that's it.
How much? Yeah.
No,
That's interesting. How has it been? How? Okay, wait. So this is what I was going to tell you.
okay.
Speaking of what you just mentioned, I read there was an article online about an aviation maintenance shortage, and there were comments from people that seemed to be business owners or aircraft owners,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them had made a comment. Maybe he was in this New York, New Jersey area, and he said that it's taking people 3 to 4 months to find A&Ps to work on their smaller aircraft. And there were people underneath it agreeing. Is that true? I just called somebody and I said, "Would you believe that?" And they said, "I don't think it would take that long to find an A&P." to work on your plane. But then, what do you see out there?
Well, as far as anything, a lot of people normally have their own guys, they regular guys who they regular A&P who's working on their planes. For me, I have my regular guy. He passed away in
Mm,
COVID. So after he passed away, it was very difficult. Well, it still is difficult for me to find uh a technician. So I definitely agree with that statement that you made because from COVID to now, I mean, I have an idea on who I could let work on my plane, but for me right now it's just me working on my plane, because the knowledge that
better.
I'm gaining, and yeah, I know I'm not gonna cut any corners because guess what? I'm up in the air, so there's no corners
Yeah,
to cut, you
that's
know?
a good point. A lot of people don't think of that, and that's such a cool. That's really cool in my opinion.
Yeah,
Somebody that, you fix your plane and then you're gonna get on your plane and fly. A lot of people say, "I was working on my car all day today and then I drove," and you get to say that you fix an airplane
yeah.
that goes how fast? I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's to me, it just sends chills through my body even thinking about it. It's I love it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
How's your family? How does your family like it? Does your family often come on with you, or are they a little bit reluctant to get on the smaller planes?
So with the smaller plane, because one of the planes I have is a four seater. It has four seats. That's a propeller, and the other one is a jet. The propeller, uh, my wife, I made her fly before. She landed it, so she's not afraid
Ah,
of it. Yeah, she was pretty excited to do it. And I used to fly with my dog all the time, but so it's like I don't have a problem as long as the person is not afraid. I'll take them up and go for a flight. It's because it's like a joy for me. So I want to share my joy with everyone.
yeah, we're gonna have to go up for a ride soon. When you
Oh,
when we're
absolutely.
done with the studies, we're gonna go up.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Absolutely. That'll be awesome, man. I think you should get your private. You have the
I do want to
knowledge.
do that.
You
I
have
do
so
want to
much
do that.
knowledge. I think it only makes sense. It'll be a piece of cake for you, actually.
Let me ask you something. Did it help you a little bit when you first came into Vong? Kind of just being a pilot, knowing the aircraft systems and
Oh,
being in there.
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. 100%. Yeah,
yeah.
because it's sort of like if you go to school to drive a car and you've been driving for 20 years. Yeah, you're gonna know something.
Yeah, I kind of see that. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely gonna know some things naturally, quite naturally, and even some of the questions that are asked, if you really think about it, you're gonna be able to answer a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you see aviation and we speak about shortages, we know what's going on in commercial aviation, always delays, safety concerns, GA the same. We hope to get a bigger budget for the GA, but I'm just thinking to myself, what do you think? What do you think? Where do you see aviation going forward? Do you see us, kind of filling that maintenance gap? Do you see more private, chartering companies coming up and more people paying to just go away from commercial? What do you see?
Well, there's gonna be a certain class, a certain class of people that's always gonna do commercial. I don't foresee like the lower middle class flying private. I just don't see it. Now the upper middle class and the middle class, yeah, definitely they're gonna fly more private only because it's just a thing to do, especially with you have things like COVID that come into play, and
Yeah.
everybody want to be safe. So if you're able to fly, whether by yourself or just with your own family, how sweet could it be? And that's one of the reasons why I say that I definitely have to do this A&P program to get my license. And also one of the things, the reason why I'm doing it as well is to open up a charter company and also a shop to repair aircraft.
Tell me a little bit about that, Mike. I know that's what I really wanted to talk about at one point. I know that we spoke about it briefly in the past. Excuse me. I know that aviation business, I mean, aviation is just expanding. Everything has gotten just crazy after the pandemic. Where do you see charter companies? Where do you see the potential of that going?
Oh yeah, it's just it's it's just expanding. It's just expanding. I think it's gonna be one of those things that um it's gonna be to where they're gonna be, which this is happening actually right now. They have electric planes that is commuting within the city, and what's happening is it's sort of like taxis that's going from one airport to the next.
Ah, yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah, but they're actually landing like helicopters. So they could go straight up vertically and take off and land. And this is something that's coming into play as well. So aviation is just going to get nuts. It's going to take over a lot of things. So this is the reason why I'm going in, both feet in.
Now's the time. Now is the time. And you speak
Absolutely.
about starting a business. Now is definitely the time to do
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, and real estate is great, and I love real estate because that's my first love, that's my first joy, and
Hmm.
that's where I make majority of my money. It's
Oh,
my
I didn't know
joy.
that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
What
real
what kind of
estate.
real estate do you do? Commercial or like
Uh,
residential?
Residential and commercial, but
Oh,
mostly residential. I got a few commercial properties as well, but that's my main bread and butter. That's that's where majority of my money come from right now. But in turn, it's gonna be aviation because I'm doing that transition because
y-
I see the potential.
why not? Because you're mixing business with your passion. And
Oh,
if you mix both of those together and you make a business that's based off your passion, it's gonna succeed.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. One of my philosophies is that if you're able, if you're actually able to so-called work and you're okay if you get paid or even if you don't get paid, you're going to enjoy doing it because it's something that you love to do, then guess what? You're in the right direction. So this is
Yes.
what I love to do. I enjoy taking things apart and putting it together. I enjoy flying. I enjoy anything with planes. I just love it. So, it's one of those things. I'll do it for free. I
I'll,
would do it for free. So
I'll fix Mike's plane for free. But
yeah.
you speak about aviation and you speak about like this great. I had I didn't get to see you there, but we got the opportunity to head out to the MBAA Westchester Regional Forum,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Awesome.
there, oh man, that thing was cool, man.
Oh,
Some amazing aircraft that were out there. And you spoke earlier in the very beginning about networking. That was one of the best opportunities right
oh,
there.
absolutely, absolutely. I just wish if I was able to get there earlier, but for the time that I spent there, I did. I thought it was pretty good. I was there for
Yeah.
maybe about a good 30, 40 minutes, and for those 30, 40 minutes, oh man, it was almost like a kid in a candy store. I enjoyed it so much. It was crazy. It
It's
was
fu- it's
crazy.
funny that you mention it like that because when I got home and I'm telling somebody about it, they
Yeah.
said her exact words. She said that I explained it like a kid in a candy shop because I love aviation. I like talking about it.
to be honest, when I realized that I just missed you, I was like, oh man.
I was getting in the shuttle back to that thing.
Yeah, I was like, I thought to myself, oh man, this is crazy. I missed them because I know it would have been crazy. You know, as we're going,
Yeah,
we'd be able to talk about different things. It would have been crazy.
we're
So,
gonna get. I think there's another one, Mike, coming up in. I think it said in October in Vegas. There's
oh
one, a
yeah,
big one with private jets. Yeah, Gulfstream. I think it's gonna be a big one by the
oh
MBAA.
oh that would be cool because by that time, you know, hopefully we could fly out in the jet. You know what I mean?
Oh, that
Yeah,
would be so.
yeah, yeah.
That would be the end all experience right there.
Yeah, could you imagine? You know, we fly out there, and then we actually playing with aviation and looking at
And then
people.
we're there,
Oh my god! Oh, forget
and
about.
it's like a 2 day event. There's a lot happening in that one. It's gonna
Oh,
be
that's
worth
a
looking
2 day
into that
event.
one.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's a fact. I definitely love to partake on that. You said in October, right?
Yeah, October. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna send you the information. I was
Yeah.
just looking at it in one of their magazines that I had saw, but that's gonna be a good one. And I know they're having a maintenance conference next year. I think that one somewhere on the I think in Palm Springs, California, something like that.
Oh, so
That
it's
one's gonna be dedicated to maintenance.
oh wow. Oh, now that's a must. That
Yeah.
that's a must. That's a
Book
must.
the hotel now. Book the hotel now. It's
Yeah.
that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, yeah, that's a must. That's a must. And you said that that one is when is that one?
I had it over here. I'm gonna send you that information. So that one's in 2024, and I know there's one in February, and I think that one's the one in Palm Springs. I'm gonna tell you right now. Check it out. But those are so good because just for so many reasons. I mean, you get to see. I know at one point, I'm just trying to find it. I know at one point I saw a booth there that was for a company that they refurbish windshield glass, aviation windshield glass, and I was like, I think Michael was looking for one for his plane.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I'm looking for two. So you know, it's each one, it's about 50 grand.
That's nuts. That is just nuts. I keep telling people that they don't believe me.
Yeah, no, that's just what it is. And here's the kicker: it's 50,000 for each. Not, I need two, and also the waiting for it. It's about a year. So it's like, it's almost like you're begging them to take your money, and you know, okay, give me the money. Okay, I'll get back to you whenever I feel like it. Let's say about a year. And guess what? Maybe in about a year, it's gonna be, oh, give us another 6 months. We'll get back to you.
What is it with people that I what is it with you mentioned that to me? Somebody says they get parts and then they say, "Yeah, we'll have it in 2 weeks." And then the 2 weeks come and they say, "Okay, a month." What is it with people and the deadlines, or is it just really difficult to get a part?
You know, to be to be quite honest with you, when you deal with parts, like I have a shop. I have a auto repair shop, and because of parts, a lot of times you have to let the car sit. But if I'm gonna tell a customer that, okay, hey, I should have the part by 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the date that the dealership is gonna tell me, okay, they're gonna have it within 2 weeks. For me, I'm actually going to say, okay, the 2 weeks. I'm gonna tell my customer, okay, it's gonna be about 3 weeks. If it comes earlier, I'm able to say, oh, you know what? I got it in 2 weeks. I'm gonna take care of it. Now, I just don't understand with some companies. They, well, you already understand. With my ADSB for the jet, I ordered it, and I ordered the ADSB, which is this is a radio. So it's sort of like well, you know, but
But tell them, tell them,
listeners,
tell them.
yeah. So basically what happens is it's um it's something that tells ATC, which is air traffic control, it tells them exactly where you are. So it gives them a signal as an in and a out. So basically the in is for them to see where you're at, and the out is for whoever is around you to see where you're at. So it is sort of like a avoidance, collision avoidance awareness, you know.
Yeah, TCAS, traffic collision and avoidance. Yeah.
So this is one thing that it's mandatory for all aircrafts to actually have this now. This just came into effect, I'd say maybe about 2 years now, a year. So this particular plane does not have it. So I have to order it. Now this particular system, it's about installation, and with the equipment that actually runs about maybe 50 grand. So
Hmm.
once once that is ordered, obviously they say, okay, give us 50%. I said, okay, no problem. How long is it gonna be? So they tell me, okay, it will be 3 months. So I said, okay. So I give my deposit. They order it. 3 months later, 3 months passed. Now the guy tell me, okay, well, it's on back order, so we need another 6 months. I was like, what do you mean 6 months? It's like, well, yeah, it's gonna take another 6 months. Now I'm frustrated and I'm upset. So I said, okay, that's fine. I let it go. 2 months later, he called me and said, "Oh, you know what? Because it's in a delay. Even after we get it, we're backed up. We won't be able to touch it until almost a year. So they say it's gonna be about 10 months. Even when they get the part in 6 months, they won't be able to touch the plane until 10 months." So I was like, "Are you kidding me? You know, I give you my money, and now you want me to keep on waiting, waiting, waiting. And how does that really work?" I was like, well, it's in back order. We can't do anything about it. So my thing to them was, well, you told me it was gonna be there in 3 months. And
And then
so
when 3 months came, it was another 6 months.
yeah. And then they didn't wait. At least I respect them, the fact that they didn't wait for 6 months to pass before they called me and say, hey, we need more time. They wait 2 months and say, it's crazy, man.
I was just gonna say, but why did they let 3 months pass if they could have just called you when they knew how long it was gonna take so you could find somebody else to do it?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
they wanted the security deposit or they thought they were gonna figure it out. I don't know.
I have no idea. But long story short, I told them, send me back a check, send me my money back, and I'll figure it out. Because by then, I'm gonna finish up with the program in August, end of
Okay.
session two. I'm completely done. So
Really?
yeah, so it doesn't make sense for me to get on a roller coaster with these guys. I just Once I get my license, I'll be able to, you know, do it myself.
Let me ask you about that going forward and I didn't know he was graduating that quickly, but he's in my class. We were just in class together. But it flies by. But going forward, what's your plans? Are you planning on staying in, the New York area? Are you planning on, going south? What do you plan on doing?
Actually, I plan on staying in New York, in the New York area, only because
Okay.
I have I actually have a contract with Republic Airport, and one of the FBOs. They're building a new hangar, so I have a contract with them. That way, I'm gonna have that new hangar for uh,
Oh, nice.
yeah, for the charter and the repair, the repair shop.
That's good.
Yeah, so they say it's gonna take about 2.5 years, which they told me that about a year ago. So I'm patiently waiting.
Republic is a really good airport to have that at, Mike. That's oh, I'm just gonna look up something about that. That's a really good airport to have a hangar to set up shop like that.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. It's I'm just so excited. You know, sometimes when you get so excited, you start stuttering and you speak.
Yeah.
You know that that's me. That's me. You know, very excited about it.
All right, that's gonna be good. So then me and Mike, I mean, me and Mike are we're gonna stay in touch because we got this is just we me and Mike just get the chemistry going with the aviation. We get everybody in the Mike is the type of but he's the type of person that he can get people attracted to aviation. He can bring people into this field that needs people. I'm being serious.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know the thing about it is when you talk from the heart, people feel you. They feel the
Yeah,
heart. And you know when I'm talking about aviation, it's there's no holding back. It's just from the heart. So you know, people gravitate to it and they able to feel me. So you know, they feel me. It's all good. They know it's a beautiful
yeah,
thing because it's giving me so much joy. It'll bring them joy as well.
yeah.
You
That's
know.
a really good way to put it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a really good way to put it. Um,
Let me ask you a question though.
Tell
What
me.
made you get into aviation? Like, you know, a lot of people don't even. I think this is a field that a lot of people kind of bypass. It's like, you know, it. Remember, you were saying to me, a lot of people think that being a pilot is so far fetched. Some people don't even think about being a
Yeah,
technician, an aircraft technician, to actually
yeah.
work on these planes. I mean, we're actually engineers, but what made you get into it? Like, what actually?
You know, for me, it was pretty simple. You know, I grew up and my dad, he did, you know, interior design and he did like custom upholstery, custom window treatment. He would build furniture from scratch. And I grew up with him, working with him, and he did a lot of work like in the city, in the Hamptons, and I enjoy working with my dad. And but I was always really good at, you know, problem solving, troubleshooting, trying to figure out how things worked. With that, I just always had a passion for aviation as a kid. And I grew up like 10 minutes away from LaGuardia. So I would just hear them all day and I would just try to identify which each plane was. But I knew when I got older, I knew I wanted to do something in aviation, but it needed to be something with my hands because I can't do the same thing every day. I can't sit at a desk. Aviation was just it fits so perfectly for me because I love aviation and I love trying to figure out things and trying to understand how things work. And for me, you know, when I was out there fixing a plane, any plane that I fixed, I always thought of like kind of what Mike was saying earlier. Like I think of the people that are getting on it the next day, and like for me, that's what got me going. I would never think about the paycheck really with aviation. So that kind of did it for me. It was kind of just that simple. I was really close to Vaughn. Um, I was good with my hands. I knew I had really good mechanical inclination on things. So I was like, I'm gonna put all that together. But it's interesting because I didn't even know what an A&P was. I Googled it
Wow.
and I did research into Vaughn and I said, so let me, I, I said, let me go to Vaughn, but I don't know what I want to study. And then when I went onto their page, I said, oh, there's like a name for that.
Uh,
So yeah,
and then that was it. You just jumped in.
yeah. And then I think one of the first jobs that I actually had was teaching at Vaughn College. And then about a week later, I started working on planes. But I love aviation, you know, everything,
Oh wow.
you know.
So you enjoy teaching. Well, one thing I realize about you is that you as a teacher, the patience that you have, I think is like above and beyond this world. Only because you know the patience is just it, it, it's it, it's on another level. How did
It's
you even acquire that? Do you like for me?
I
I'm
go to
asking
church.
a lot.
I go to church on Sunday. No, you know what it is, Mike? To be honest, I think my my mom has been she just retired. She was a kindergarten teacher for 36 years.
Mm,
So she had a lot of patients at home.
okay, got.
And my girlfriend is a reading specialist for kids about the same age. So I'm surrounded by a lot of people that patient.
Ah.
And I go to church on Sunday, and that calms me down for a couple of days. So it's good, but
Okay.
but you know what it is? I love teaching, and but you know, in your classes, like I said, you guys are a good bunch. So you guys are quiet, you ask good questions, but sometimes, you know, it's all right. Aviation, you know, every aviation might. There's so many things. There's always something happening. Like, look, we're doing this. It's late at night.
Yeah,
You're working. We're doing other things. It's interesting the way aviation is. Everything's like on the fly,
yeah, yeah.
you know. But
You know,
I was gonna
go ahead.
I was gonna ask you something. No, go ahead. I was gonna ask you one more thing.
I think one of the beautiful thing about aviation as well is like it's so diverse. There's so much avenues to it. It's almost like, okay, this is Martin Luther King Boulevard. This is Central Avenue. This is
Yeah.
North Street. This is South Road. You know what I mean? It's so much different avenue. There's so much lanes that you're able to take. And I think that to me is so exciting because one of the things in order to be successful, I always say, is you got to diversify. Got to
Mm-hmm.
diversify whatever you're investing in, whatever you're doing. You got to be diverse. And I've learned that, and because of that, now and going into aviation, there's so many different ways and so many different angles. Like I said, with the avenues that you could take, it just makes
Mm-hmm.
me even so much more excited to jump in it. You know?
But you it really is. I mean, you can do just about anything now. And if you have a private pilot's license and an A&P license, oh, you're America's golden boy at this point. If you have both of those combined, I mean, you can't find a pilot, you can't find a mechanic.
Oh yeah,
Imagine both.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Do
know?
you see no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you see yourself doing like all everything together in your business when you open up, you know, your what are your aspirations? You see your own hangar, fixing it, being the pilot, having people come on board, doing everything, or you say, you know what? I think I'm at a place where I can just hire somebody to be my lead mechanic, hire somebody to manage it for me.
You know, I'm definitely gonna be hands on, but I'm not going to. I mean, I'll burn myself out if I think I could do everything. Uh, gotta hire people to do things because,
That was the next question.
yeah, I definitely burn myself out because you imagine wanting to do. Oh, you know what? Oh, I got to fly this plane. Oh, as a matter of fact, I got to go fix this plane. Oh, I got to go.
Let me wash my hands.
Yeah. No, it becomes a little too much. But
Yeah.
flying, I love flying. Taking things apart, putting it together, I love that. Troubleshooting, I love it. It just keeps me going. So I, just being in the space and being able to get my hands dirty at times and fly the plane at times, or you know, it's that's just a blessing in itself. You know.
Have you found any have you found like any challenges with like everyday, you know, just having an aircraft? I didn't know, you know, so there's like landing fees, right? I don't know too much about it, but I know there's landing fees for certain airports. If you're going to tie down somewhere overnight, I know that that could be something else. Do you deal much with that, or do you stick more to like the smaller airports, the smaller, you know, that is not the costs are not too crazy if you do happen to take your plane somewhere?
Yeah, I go to the smaller airports only because they're more convenient. Um, so majority of the okay, so basically we got Class Bravo. Class Bravo are the big airports. Okay, so the big airports like let's say JFK. So JFK, LaGuardia, those are Bravo airspace. Uh,
Okay.
so I'm able to go into these airports, but the landing fees and eh, they hit you with so much fees that it doesn't make sense. And I guess that's their
Mm,
way of keeping out the smaller aircrafts, because for me to go to Republic Airport, I land. Yeah, there's a landing fee as well, but it's like what's the landing fee now? It's like I believe it's like $5, which is
oh,
not
okay, yeah, I was gonna ask. Yeah, okay.
$5
I
landing.
was thinking it was high.
Yeah, no, and but now you go to JFK, landing fee. It's like there's a landing fee, there is a following fee, there is a tie down fee. There is if
Wow.
depending on the FBO you go, they're charging you by the hour. It gets crazy. So I went into Philadelphia International. I flew my Bonanza into that airport.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the good thing is I modified that plane, so it came with 205 horsepower. Now I have what do I have? Three uh is it 325? So I got
Wow.
over 100 more horsepower, and you're talking it's very light. So when I went into um Philly International, it's a lot of big planes. So now
Uh-huh.
tower is like, oh hey, 7311 Bravo, please pick up the speed, pick up the speed. And I'm like, okay, 11 Bravo picking up the speed. It hit the throttle and I'm cruising and I'm at about 180 knots going into land. Oh man, that felt so good. I mean, hey, pick up speeds, pick up speed. Okay, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah. So it's just a beautiful thing when it's totally different. You're landing in there, but by the time I was out of there, which I think I stayed about 2 hours, and then I came back, and when I got my bill, I had to pay. I think it was like maybe it came up to somewhere in the 500 and something dollars.
Okay.
Mind you, I just landed, chilled
Right.
for
Two
about,
hours.
and then I took off, and that alone was like 500 and something dollars. That's not including
That's
my gas or any. It's nuts.
that's in,
No,
that's incredible for 2 hours. And but is it Philly International Airport, right?
it's a big boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like JFK. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very. That was my only time, and I think that's gonna be the last time that I go in there too.
I was gonna say, do you gonna do it again?
Not at all. Not at all. It's not worth it. I'd rather go to a small airport. They give me a loaner car. They give me a red carpet treatment. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a beautiful thing. You land into places. They know that your plane is there, so they don't have a problem giving you a car. Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, courtesy
What
car.
kind of car? Wait, what kind of cars are the courtesy cars?
Well, in some airports they're better than others. Some airports they'll give you like you get like a little Honda Accord.
Oh, I see.
They're not
Okay.
gonna
But
give
you
you
know
like
what? That's
a
pretty
Ferrari or
cool.
something like that.
No, I was gonna say, is it Bentley? What are you
Nah, nah. That would be nice. That would
No,
be.
but you know what that who can say that they can land somewhere and you can just say, you know what, let's have lunch and I'll be there in 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, wherever it is that you flew.
Hmm.
Like you can't put I really you in my opinion, you can't put a price tag on something like that because not only are you say just the value of your life is just increasing. You're not wasting time sitting in a waiting room. You're not there's so many things that come out of that, you know.
I mean, for me, flying, with the experience, I tell you that there's like now it's summertime. A lot of trips that I will be taking is like Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Block Island.
Mhm.
These are regular trips that I take on a regular basis. So Block Island is right there. Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. These even Nantucket is such a beautiful place. You think that
Yeah.
you're in the island somewhere. Well, it is an island, but I mean in the
Yeah, but
Caribbean
it's
or
nice.
somewhere like that is really really nice. And to be able to just pick up and fly out there, okay, I'm gonna be there in about an hour. That's a beautiful thing.
It's interesting because I was looking at going over there and I had to look at the ferry schedule. I was like, I had to go. I was like, what's the ferry to Martha's Vineyard?
Oh man.
It's just part of the experience, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's a
Have
beautiful thing. You got to get that
and
light.
what that's key. What's one of the most interesting places that you've flown since you've had your plane for the 20 years since you've been flying?
Ah, most interesting place. Oh, most interesting place. Um, I, I'm gonna say maybe Key West kind of stand out. Key West
Mm,
stand out a lot to me, only because when I got there, uh, the greeting that I received, it was very different.
interesting.
It's very very different. You know,
Interesting.
very different. It was
Th-
one of those. Go ahead.
This is compared to like, because I know you've flown a lot. This is compared to like Savannah, Charleston. I know you've probably flown to all those places.
Oh
This
yeah,
is Key
oh
West.
yeah, yeah. Key West,
Huh.
Key West.
That's surprising
Yeah,
for Key West.
yeah. It was one of those things that, and I flew down there several times just because of the treatment that I got. So Key West was it is one of those places you fly down there. Number one, they spreading the red carpet, which a lot of the airport does that. They do that, and it's like the thing that I really love about them at the airport. It was more a lot of females there, beautiful,
Ah,
and
ah.
majority of the times when I go to airports, a lot of males. They're
Right.
just beautiful females, and it really stood out to me. And it's they treat you like the king that you are. It's a beautiful thing. Key West,
That
yeah,
is interesting. So it's Key West. We gotta start looking at. Well, no one's gonna get that experience unless you're flying in. But Key West, I have heard so many people going to Key West. I was looking at flights. You won't even. I'm not even gonna mention the prices of the commercial flights to Key West.
yeah.
You spend $2,000.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
No
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Not worth it. Not worth it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Key West,
Um.
beautiful place. I mean, Nantucket is also beautiful as well too. I mean, been all over the place, but Key West kind of standing out right now to me.
Yeah. Is that the next vacation? That's the next destination on the itinerary.
Uh, you know, I don't know. It might have to be the Bahamas. Um,
Ooh, I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Throw that in there. Let's just go
Yeah.
spend the weekend in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I mean it's right there. It's like boom, boom, hop, skip. You know.
That I was gonna ask you something. When you think of, traveling, and now we're talking about like the best experiences and all of that. Well, how do you have time to do it all? Like you study, you get good grades in my classes.
Mm. Okay.
I actually see, and I see you doing taking care of your daughter. You own businesses. How do you find the time to kind of manage anything? Do you kind of say, today I'm gonna deal with this business, today I'm gonna deal with that? How do you go about that?
Oh, that would be nice if that could really pan out like that, as I plan to say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna deal with this one today and that one tomorrow. So that one, oh, you can't bother me today. Yeah, I wish if that could work like that. You know what it is? It's just I think one of the most important thing is just to have a have a poised uh state of mind. Like you got to just be poised. You got to be able to hold your composure. You got to be able to,
Right.
and I think that it helps me to focus that way. When I'm able to hold my composure, I'm able to focus. I could do anything. I can multitask when I'm able to focus. So, one of the things that I do to help me with that is meditate. Meditating definitely helps me with that.
That's
I
a good one, actually.
multitask a lot. Yeah.
That's a good that's actually a couple of people have told me that actually about meditation. I keep saying I'm gonna try it, and then another person tells me about it. I'm like, well, there must be something to it, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, if you don't, yeah, you gotta meditate. You got to. You got to. It's especially with you. Oh my God. I thought you meditate. Uh, yeah. No, you got to.
I should.
Uh,
Can
uh,
you imagine the patience I would have if I
oh,
did?
oh man. You might as well take a spaceship to another planet now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because your patience is already out of this world. So it's a beautiful thing, man.
Uh,
Meditation, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to try it. Got to try it.
that's a good point, actually. But
Yeah,
listen, Mike, I I want to thank you so much for coming on this episode, and I want people to know that I want to have Mike on more of these episodes
yeah,
because
yeah,
there's so many other things that I could just talk to Mike all night if you let us.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's just a phone. I'm just a phone call away, man. When it comes down to talking about things like this, oh, I could talk about it all day, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. So, thank you for having me. Just call me anytime. Anytime, I'm here. I'm there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Guys, thanks. We wrap up this episode. I want to thank Micheal Clarke again for being on. Just an amazing person in aviation. It doesn't matter where you see him or what he's doing. He's surrounding himself with everything good in aviation. It's a pleasure to have him in the class, just to know him, to be his acquaintance. And yeah, thanks, man. We'll see you on soon.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I want to thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you, man.
And just
All
want
right.
to say one thing. Keep
Tell
doing what
me.
you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Keep it up just like that. Just keep getting better and better. You're phenomenal. Just keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right.